Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome back to Faceless Labs. I'm Evan. He's Alex. We are your hosts at the Rise Up Morning Show, and we have been hanging out at the Memecoin Casino. We want you to have fun at the Memecoin Casino. We want you to stay safe, and we want to set the record straight on the master metric, the thing that matters most when the tokens are tiny. I'm talking about liquidity. Alex and I are going to walk you through a quick tutorial, what liquidity is, how to assess it, and get into the Memecoin Casino so that you can have fun and stay safe while you're there. We're going to take a look at DEXScreener, but first I want to invite you to drop a like, leave a comment with your questions, and click the subscribe button to come back for more crypto content for people at all levels of experience. Alex, brother, you ready to do this?
I'm ready, man. That was a great intro.
Thanks, man.
I'm excited. This is like you said, the single most important tool, thing, anything to keep in mind if you are going to throw a dart at the Memecoin Casino dartboard and try to land on a winner. This is the single most important piece. So,
Alex, could you actually start? A lot of people talk about market cap, they talk about supply, and they may touch on liquidity, but I think people just generally could use an understanding. What is liquidity, and why would you say it's so important?
So market cap is definitely the most talked about data point when it comes to crypto, at least from what I've seen over the years. However, liquidity is more important because liquidity is a measure of the amount of money that is actually inside of the trading pools that you need to participate in if you want to buy or sell these things. So simply put, the market cap could be $30 billion, but if there's only $10,000 sitting in the liquidity pool, no one's selling anything over that amount. That is the grand total of money that can be extracted from this pool. So
you might be a millionaire on paper, but until you touch the money, is it even real?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you see a lot, Evan. I'm sure you've seen these, right? Someone makes a video, they have a screenshot they share on social media that is like, I'm up huge. I put $100 in and it's worth $10 million now, or something like that, right? And then you can go look at the meme token or whatever it is that they're talking about, and there's $150,000 of liquidity, and there's 3,000 people that are holding this thing. So that is the grand total, that 150, whatever the liquidity is.
Yeah, that's the pot.
That's the pot. Not no $10 million, 150 grand. That's all that can be taken out before the thing goes straight to zero.
Yeah, and we want you to get your money out before it goes straight to zero if you're going to play in the Memecoin Casino. What do you say? Should we take a walk over to DEXScreener and show people how they can start checking this for themselves?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. While Alex pulls it up, I want to remind you that you can check out all of our content at theriseupmorningshow.com. It's got the links to all of our other socials, our TikTok channel, and the link to our newsletter. It's the briefest bullets from our show every week and tools like this that you need to succeed in Web3. So go over there, check it out, and please subscribe today. Like us. Really, really like us. Alex, what are we looking at, man?
All right. So what we've got here is one of my favorite tools to start to check into this kind of stuff. So this website is called DEXScreener. You can see the URL right up here, I think, Evan.
Yeah, DEXScreener.com.
DEXScreener.com. As we love to say on the show, this video is not sponsored, but it absolutely
could be.
Could be. So DEXScreener, where you at? All right. So basically what I like to use a tool like this for is just to do my due diligence on something before I'm going to take the risk on it. Now, you're not necessarily going to use a tool like DEXScreener to check something like Cardano or Ethereum or Polkadot, one of these giant things that is traded all over the place on tons of exchanges. These tools like DEXScreener, and it's certainly not the only option. It's just one of my favorites, and it's the one we're going to highlight today to keep it simple. This one is more for the low caps, the riskier stuff, the stuff that's only tradable on the decentralized exchanges. And this is one of the only places that you can get a lot of this kind of information. So we're going to top down a random token here. I've chosen Mail on Solana because it's gotten some attention on social media, and I know more people are looking at it. So we're going to use it as an example today.
Okay, and to get here, it looks like you went from the home screen. We tell people about that navigation real quick. I see you've got the chain selected.
Yeah, so just to get where I'm at, super simple. One, you can just search right here and type in either the ticker or the contact address. Now, one thing that I will show you, it's always better to use the contract address if you can, and I'll show you how to get that in just a second. But you'll notice that if I search something like Pepe, which is a huge meme, there's going to be a ton of different options, right? Because I mean, everybody and their grandmothers launched their own Pepe. So let's take a look at one that's definitely not the regular, like real Pepe.
Your run-of-the-mill regular Pepe. I saw one on base this morning that was Pepe but blue.
Exactly. I mean, here's something on Solana that's called just Pepe coin on Solana, right? So like this thing is only 2 months old. We know that's not the real thing, right? Yeah. So what
somebody might not know.
Somebody might not know. So what we can do to be sure would be find the thing on social media, find its website. They will have a contract address there for you. Or what you can do is go to where Pepe lives, Ethereum. So here is the main Ethereum network and all of their collections. You can see up here, we're dealing with something in the billions, 24-hour volume, tons of transactions, blah, 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 all this stuff. Search by trending. Pepe's usually at the top. Here's the big one, $3.4 billion market cap. This looks like the real thing, right? Yeah. And then we would be able to go from there. But if you can't find it here, social media, website, all that good stuff, that's going to be your best bet to get the contract address.
Yeah, absolutely. And you always want to double check the contract address because you just never know. And the second thing to check, of course, would be liquidity. You think you got the right contract, but it only has $17,000 in liquidity. That doesn't sound like one of the most popular meme coins on the blockchain, does
exactly.
it?
Nope.
So good checks, man.
All right. So as you just saw, I'm just going to search for mail. There's not a lot of options. This is just one small token. But again, I can always double check this by going to their social media, to their website, and verifying the contract address. Yeah. So now that we're on this page, let's do a quick top-down analysis as if I'm looking at this for the first time. And what am I going to check before I decide, or what's one more thing that I'm considering before making a bet on this thing? So from the top, we've got ticker, the pool, where we're trading. So right now I can see that we're using mail. It's a Solana pair. So I can only buy this thing with Sol, and it's being traded through the Radium DEX, which is one of the bigger DEXs on Solana, decentralized exchange.
Gotcha.
I can get some links out to their website, their Twitter, their Telegram group. Quick aside on Telegram, if you're not familiar, Telegram is one of those messaging platforms. It is used a lot in the crypto community, and just be very careful. You can get good information out of Telegram groups, but it's also a hotbed for scammers. I would recommend personally that you make a habit of not jumping into every Telegram group and talking, especially not with like your DMs open or something, because speaking from personal experience, you will just get inundated with spammy messages, people pretending to be support, people trying to get your information, whatever, and it's exhausting. So avoid it if you can. All right, next, we just continue to scroll down here, and all of the information I'm going to be able to get from this is right here on the side. We'll get to the rest of this in just a second, but over here, we've got our current trading price in both US dollars and also Sol. USD is kind of just, for your awareness, but obviously we're only going to be able to purchase this thing in Sol in this group.
Yeah, I find it's easy to track in both, helpful to track in both, just because awareness, like Alex says, the US dollar is not volatile. So whereas 0.1 Sol today might be worth $30 or $15, 1 cent is always going to be, for your purposes, about 1 cent.
For sure.
Good to track both.
No, it's good just to sort of, keep an eye on it. It's something that you can look at and way more easily recognize. So it's nice that they added on there for us.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we're going to go down, and here is the metric of the hour, liquidity. So I'm going to come back to it as the talking point, the main subject of this video here. But really quick, the rest of this is kind of some of the other stuff that you might expect to see on an info page for cryptocurrency. You've got your market cap and your fully diluted, yikes, your fully diluted valuation, which would just be, like if the entire supply of this thing that could ever exist was out on the market at today's price, this is what the valuation would be. The fact that it lines up with market cap is a good sign. It just means that the token is currently completely circulating. Yeah. So we can put that as a little tick on our green flag. side of the fence here. We've got some basic price stuff. Right now we're observing this thing on 24 hours, but we could shorten these by 6 hours, 1 hour, and even just down to the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Usually with these really tiny cap projects, this one doesn't constitute super tiny cap, but I mean, you'll see some of these things with like $50,000 market cap, $10,000 market cap, right? Those you're definitely looking at super small time frame. So it's nice that they break this down this much.
And it may be premature to say this, but I do want to say, while we're looking at this part of the metric, something that I look at when I am deciding, is this a good time for me to invest in gambling on this thing, is the larger something gets, the less likely it is to get even larger in a significant way. It's easy to go from the very bottom to the middle than it is, to reach a new ceiling all the time. And at a market cap of 21 million, I see that it's got $5 million of volume in 24 hours. That's pretty great, but tap that 5 minute again, Alex. This 21 million market cap token has a volume of $13,000 in 5 minutes. I know for comparison that there are tokens that just launched that are doing $10,000 in volume on the 5 minute, which to me, as somebody looking to buy in who doesn't hold this, is more enticing if my goal is not to hold on for a long time, but to get rid of something quickly. I like that they do that there, and that they visualize it with the green and red also, because you can see from the buy volume visually that way, whether the volume is coming from people moving into the token or people moving out of the token.
Absolutely.
Something important to watch as you decide, is this the right time, and is it a good time for me?
Exactly. Yeah, good point. I mean, there's obviously a ton of different things that can go into your decision to take a risk on something or not. And the rest of this is relatively self-explanatory. You can watch list it. You can set some alerts. They'll actually link you straight to the DEX right here if you want to. If you're like, yep, I've seen enough, let me send it. You can also then just get a couple other basic pieces of information. But the one thing I would really like to highlight here is right here, you have a copyable button. This is the token address. This is the long string of letters and numbers that, when squished together, make the unique serial number or identifier for this particular cryptocurrency. And you can actually go from right here, this little EXP link that will take you out, and go right to the Blockchain Explorer, something that we can definitely get into on a future video, and get even deeper into the weeds as far as, picking this thing apart.
Yeah, it's on the list. And let me say, we have plans to talk about how you can do your diligence on tokens further than this, other resources to use, how to use the Blockchain Explorer. But if you have a question you'd like someone to answer in a medium video like this, taking their time, walking you through it, leave that in the comments for us. Let us know what questions you have and what you want to see.
So underneath that, just some of the same links that we saw up top. So let's take a quick look at the liquidity and see what we can find right here. So again, to recap, we are looking at Sol Mail. It's a small cap project built on Solana. The pool we're looking at is Mail to Sol on Radium. This is one contained pool.
Meaning in that pot of money that makes up the liquidity, there's some Sol and there's some Mail.
And you can actually get that right here. There's 14.7 million pooled Mail tokens and 1.6 thousand pooled Solana tokens or Solana coins, totaling about $303,000 equivalent on both, which when put together gives us roughly $608,000 of total liquidity. So you'll notice that this is split into the two pieces, right? Each of our two tokens that are in this. Yeah. That means that at any given point, you can only purchase this many Mail tokens at once, 14.7 million. If I try to buy 15 million, that order is not going to complete because there are not that many in circulation. A whole bunch of other stuff would happen at the same time if I tried to submit a buy order like that. But just to put that in perspective, this is literally exactly how many, and you can see it just went down. Somebody bought some, which means that the SOL went up a little bit, that kind of stuff. So the total value of liquidity, 606,000. If we come down here and we look underneath the price chart, we can see transactions. These are actively rolling in, right? You've probably noticed they're updating in real time. These are sells and buys. We can separate these and get a whole bunch of information out of this. When did it happen? Was it a buy or a sell? What was the US dollar value? how many male was it, how many soul was it, what was their price that they got. And actually over here, you can get some information on the maker, which is just another word for trader. And you can even pop this out just like we can down here with the addresses. We can pop this transaction itself via its hash right out to the blockchain explorer and get all of the deep dive in the weeds information we want about that.
And I like to use that when I'm doing a trade. If I'm doing it on another platform like Radium or Jupiter or in the Bonk bot even, it's going to give me information on its interface that I can check down here. I know my wallet address. I just look for it right down here to confirm, oh, okay, does this price match this price? And then like Alex said, if I still have questions or doubts, I can go to SoulScan because it's going to give me exactly what was written on the ledger of the blockchain. So easy way to keep records. And we both recommend that you keep some kind of record when you're doing this. A quick note in your journal to help you remember, oh, what was I supposed to sell that at? How long has it been? How much did I spend? Because you might forget.
It's a lot. It can get a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to touch on liquidity here is just that exactly what should you do with this information now that you've gotten it. So you're looking at one of these tokens for the first time and you think to yourself, okay, I can see there's $600,000 of liquidity. I don't have any context to judge that on. Is that good? Is that bad? What should I do with this information now? I can give you my own personal experience based on looking at a myriad of these things over the years and tell you that for what this is, for a token of this size in a single pool on one DEX, this is not a bad number. This is a reassuring number for me. If it was half this, I would even still think, okay, we're starting to get a little bit out of my comfort zone here, but this is still workable. Why is higher liquidity better? Two reasons. One, the higher the liquidity, that means that the more people who want to sell can do so without grossly affecting the price of the token. It's also possible that taking liquidity out of a pool that doesn't have very much can really, really throw things out of whack. Another thing that we could get into in a future video is the act of providing liquidity to a pool, which is a way that you can earn passive income at higher risk in the crypto space. And the lower the liquidity provided is, the more risky, the more volatile that is, the more likely you are to get liquidated out, to have your position fall into disarray and lose money as a provider, just because moving $5,000 out of a pot with $1 million is much less impactful than moving $5,000 out of a pot with 20,000 in it.
Alex, my favorite analogy for this is it's the difference between peeing in your local pool and peeing in the ocean. If you pee in the pool, people are getting out. But if you pee in the ocean, it's just a Tuesday.
There you go. That's that, honestly, as much as I hate to say it, that's a great analogy.
I love it.
All right. Evan, honestly, for a first lesson, I think that that's pretty good. You can take this and you can go deeper. Absolutely none of this is meant to be like a one-stop catch-all way that you can analyze and determine, okay, it has a lot of liquidity. Based on this alone, I'm aping in. The last thing on liquidity that I can mention here is you'll notice there's a small padlock logo next to it.
I was going to ask you to tell them about that.
And if you can tell, the whole circle on the outside of this is filled in as green. Sometimes you'll see either no padlock or the circle only partially filled in. And if we click on that, you can see here that what that represents is the fact that liquidity is locked, and 100% of liquidity in this pool is locked, which just means, without getting too technical, that there are smart contracts and code at play to prevent this liquidity from being drained in one big shot or all at once.
No one person, not even the person who created this token, has permission to withdraw it. There's nothing they can do. They can't trick or fool or force anyone. It's there.
It's there. This by itself is not a one-stop catch-all indicator of a safe project either, but it is another point on the green flag side of the fence that we can add to our scorecard when we're trying to analyze this thing. There are a ton of things that you can check on these projects. It really depends how deep you want to go and how froggy you're feeling in terms of getting risky or taking a gamble on something.
Listen, man, I'm feeling pretty froggy sometimes. So
I mean, dude, the convictions and the passion can run high in the Memecoin Casino. So we want to be able to collect as many metrics of data as humanly possible when we're looking at these things, because at the end of the day, no matter how much research you do into a meme, you are still taking on a tremendous risk, even locked liquidity. Because I mean, just from this icon, we may say, oh, 100% locked liquidity, that's great. However, we're not reading the rules. We don't know if it's only locked for a week. We don't know if it's locked for a day. It could be locked for even less. It could be locked way more. You know,
it could be locked after somebody purchased or sent themselves hundreds of thousands of tokens that they can sell at any second.
Yep. Anyway, I can't stress enough how important liquidity is when it comes down to this kind of stuff. If you do nothing else for yourself before throwing a dart at the Memecoin Casino dartboard, check the liquidity and at least know what kind of a pool you're getting into.
Yeah, well said. Well said, my friend. I would say for homework, go review this with tokens that you find. Don't feel pressure to buy into anything. Just take notes. Watch between the 15-minute candles, the 1-minute candles. Look for tokens that have low market caps and high market caps to see what you notice about the liquidity. Leave your questions in the comments. And then before you go, I want to invite you to join us live, because every Monday through Thursday, we do question and answer with our friends and followers on TikTok. You can find our handles right there below, and you can drop by to leave us a question anytime. It's a show we do totally for free to help people at all levels of experience understand what blockchain is and why it matters, and get connected with the most important resource, which is a community. I mean, Alex, does anybody have like a better community of people than us? No.
I mean, I'm a little biased. I think I said in the video ages ago something to the effect of, you know, saying my community is better than yours is a little bit like saying my dad can beat up your dad. But you know, in this case, it's true. My dad can beat up your dad. So
yeah, we have a lot of fun there. There are people learning this stuff just like you. Ask your questions, share what you know. And if that's not enough for you, we've got some more. At theriseupmorningshow.com, you can subscribe to our weekly newsletter. I hate newsletters, and I have made it my mission that Alex and I are giving total value, super infrequent. The briefest bullet points from our show go in this thing. When we have a guest on, all their highlights, links, recommendations go there, so that instead of having to tune in or watch a live show 4 times a week, you can just get one free newsletter that has all the best bullets. It's super simple.
It's the way to go.
Easy to sign up in 2 minutes at theriseupmorningshow.com. And while you're there, let us know if you have any feedback, suggestions for the show. We got a form for testimonials. We're always happy to hear from people. You can leave it here in the comments. And if you're collecting POAPs today, then I have to tell you, my friends, the secret word
more in luck
is big screen, in honor of the fact that we're on YouTube now, baby. Alex, do you want to take a second for the folks who might not know, just before we get out of here, to tell them what a POAP is and how they can claim it? And don't fret, we'll put this in the description of the video too, but I'd just like to hear Alex do the spiel.
Yeah. Instructions are in the newsletter as well, but simply put, a POAP is a cool way to memorialize the fact that you did a thing by putting proof of the thing that you did on a blockchain forever. I love the capacity of blockchain to let you prove stuff that is otherwise difficult to prove. My best example is that I could show you a movie ticket stub and say, you know, this is from the time I went to this movie, but I also could have just picked that up off the floor and nobody would be any the wiser. So a POAP has an immutable proof of history that is recorded on chain, and you can get one to prove that you were here with us, that you watched the show, that you learned the learnings, and that you are a member of this community. And so all you have to do to get yours is use the secret word that we have below and follow the instructions in the newsletter and in the description, and you're home free.
Yeah, that's it. It's super easy. And you, my friend, yes, you can have your very own POAPs, and who knows what they'll unlock in the future. Alex, man, I think that's a great wrap up for our lesson. I want everybody to feel free to get at us in the comments. Don't forget to follow for more. And until next time, my friends, rise up.